I'm Natalie Hubbard. I teach 7th grade science at Olmsted Academy North, which is an all-boys school. Lots of fun. One of the biggest problems that I have encountered this year is, and they tell you this and they'll tell you this a million times when you take your classes at U of L, sweat the small stuff, but it's hard to figure out what the small stuff, what that really is. Because when you think of disruptions, you think of kids who are being like purposely disruptive. So they're throwing pencils on the ground or playing paper football. That's something that you can kind of anticipate happening. But the small stuff includes kids who are just joking around, things that you can appreciate as, like I can appreciate as Natalie Hubbard, but I can't appreciate as Miss Hubbard. For example, I had a kid who, when we were reading aloud together as a class, thought it would be funny to read his part aloud as if he were the Don from The Godfather, which I thought was hilarious. But so I laughed at him because it was really funny. But now he thinks he can do whatever, like joke around all the time, which is extremely disruptive, and I can't teach over like the other kids laughing at him. So the way that I dealt with that is I sat him down and we had a conversation, and you know, it's been going, it still is a problem. You know, it's only October, but it's gotten a little better because I just explained to him, like, you know, I can appreciate you for who you are, but I got to do my job, so I need you to work for me, and I'll work for you, but just let's try not to have too much fun in this class, only science-related fun. So just you always have to be on your A game and nipping everything in the bud. Even if you think it's not going to be a problem, you should probably just take care of it right away anyway, because that's going to save you a lot of time down the road. One of the things that's going to be a problem when you first start teaching, and that is not going to be solved for a while, is figuring out what your style of teaching is, because especially coming in alternative certification, you've never been in front of a classroom before, and it really is a lot of acting. And Miss Hubbard is very different from Natalie Hubbard, who I am. And I remember the first day that I was in front of these kids, I was just thinking in my head, I can't believe some of the things I'm saying to them. It just sounds, that's what my other teacher said, so that's what I'll do it. But you kind of feel like it's an almost out of body experience. They're like, who is this person standing in front of these kids? And I don't really know who Miss Hubbard is still, and it's going to be different across different classes, and that's just something that you're going to have to you know, observe other teachers and pull things from other teachers that you like, and don't do things from like that you don't like about other teachers, not because what they're doing is wrong, but just because that's not you. Like, for example, I had kids that early on in the year said, Miss Hubbard, you're too nice, you need to yell at people more. So I said, okay, I'm going to start yelling at people. But I mean, look at me, I'm small and I have a small voice. Like, yelling doesn't work for me, and it's kind of weird when I started doing it, and it didn't work. They don't listen when I yell, so that's not something I'm going to do with my kids, and I had to learn that by trial and error. If Teach Kentucky or any sort of like alternative certification teaching route is something that you are really going to want to do, the best thing you can do to start developing your own style before you get in is go in and observe other classrooms. Most teachers are cool with having you come in and look and watch what they do. So do that before you come down here or you get into your own classroom, so you can kind of figure out what you like about some teachers, what you don't like, and come in there with an idea about how you're going to be. You're still going to have to change it anyway, but it's better than nothing. You don't just go into your first day of teaching. I mean, obviously, when you do alternative certification, you take classes at U of L, but you'll also have a couple of days of PD at your school. My school had a lot of PD because we have a lot of work to do at our school, but most schools will have at least a day or two of PD where you're just meeting with people on your team. If you're in middle school, you'll be team teaching, or other teachers, and that's the time to ask them, what do you do in your classroom? How do you deal with this? And at U of L, all of your professors are going to be former teachers, so you might want to ask them, what are things that I need to, what kinds of procedures am I going to need to have in class? Write down procedures, write down the things that you're going to need to have procedures for, and then ask your teachers at that school, because they'll know your kids better than your professors at U of L exactly what they do for those procedures.